Greetings. So I'm always giving you a direction towards how to make the world better, you know. And I want to talk about just for a second, and it won't take long, because if you're old enough to remember the plans of how society got in a state of debt, you know how debt is today, then you can refer back to this time. And I saw this as a reference point to how to get us in society. Not if you're black, African American, not if you're Caucasian, but in the 1960s, in the 1960s, African American, I know us in the Southeast, back when we couldn't afford things, we didn't just put things on credit, so we put them on layaway and didn't pay for the item until, get the item until it was paid for. And so if, we couldn't afford the clothing, so our family members, from another state would box in clothes. Some of us, we had family members that was in the big cities and could box in the clothes to the southeastern side of the country, those who lived up north, and that's how the styles got, down in the south sometimes, for us as kids. Looking at like, how did you get those deodoras, or what does that mean? Or some kid, some family member during Christmas would come down and we would connect with them, whether they were boy, girl, or whatever, what have you, and we would connect to them, and they would tell us all about how it was. And some of us had family members we were privy to go back during the summer and spend time up north and wherever those cities were. And then that's how we got our culture, but then got older and those people left. But going back to the 1960s, where family took pride in their word, to where if one of another family members getting a new home, and they would have to, borrow from another family member, whether auntie, uncle, mother, father, distant cousin, or wherever the person was that was in a higher place of wealth or in the economy at that time, so that you never needed a bank. So the banking system was out. And if they needed clothing, food, if they needed fooding, most of us still do that here in the Southeast, We had gardening in the back, so that cut down on the grocery price. And back then, it was a barter system. So if I just use myself personally, I don't know if this reference to anybody, if I know about pest control, and if you have an issue with pest control, or some issue in your house about bugs, and back during that time I needed my washer fixed or dryer fixed, but my neighbor knew about fixing the washer and the dryer, then we would exchange services, and there would be a barber in the community, and they would go to the barber and get their hair cut. There's all of these trades within the community, so that you don't have to spend out this excess money. And then not only that, when holidays, because African Americans, when it came to holidays, they had something that they wanted to do more for their children that they could not do for themselves, or that was a way for them to get away from all of the hard work that they'd done all that year. So they would save, in Christmas club funds, so they wouldn't have to go in debt, and that fund, it would just be for dinners, or just for toys, or just for anything for that particular day, or vacation for Christmas, because it was a way to get away from all the hard work and all the hell that they had went through, all of that year. And so they would save up, to get the meat coat back then. But now, introducing to credit cards, and now most African American, credit is not good. So we need each other. If one household, if the male has good credit and the female doesn't, if you're married, then work on one another's household credit. And so then you have another community or another family that you know and trust, and you can build that same and help them pay off some stuff too. I mentioned this in prior videos, with the church and the churches back then, in ministry. And there are churches that do that now. And I was a part of many ministries that gave out food, back where I, originally grew up from. Shout out to those ministries. There's a lot of them that do that there, in the Auburn, Opelika area. Shout out to your ministry that's still giving out food, and clothing to the organizations and to the people out there, because they need it now in this time in 2026. But going back to the 1960s, ladies and gentlemen, to where the banking system wasn't such a big deal. And so now if you look at the banking system, which is going down, which is going down. Everything is digital, because once it's digital, I think it's over for us. Because if you see what's being, created digitally with just in human form, ladies and gentlemen, just in human form, you're being tricked sometimes. You don't know who you're actually looking at or actually getting the right information out. So with the digital thing, it's going to be sort of good and bad, but there's no good and bad if you look at it. God is just creation. We are all, and this has to come about. So before I started this, there was a number, and I normally don't get this, but I got this time. There are 300 people. This is not about your money. I'm not going to ask you to give money. I promise you, I'm not going to ask you to give money. But there are 300 people that have been having some awakening things happening to them. I know this. I wasn't thinking about you 300, but I do think about all when I talk these and say what I say, that I hear, and the source is, God, giver of dimension, that I hear these things from. 300 of you. I don't know where you are, but I know that you are close. You're listening to this channel. 300 of you, and I know this for a fact. Things have been going on with you. You have been getting an upgrade, a masterful upgrade in your abilities, in your eternal soul, or what you call your spirit. Things have been coming online for you like never before. You have been getting manifestation back to back. I know this manifestation back to back that you hear inside of you. They have been coming. You have not been telling anyone. You just have been testing. And I know a lot of people will, I can relate to this, but particularly 300. And there's more than the manifestation. You've been seeing stuff and hearing things about people, and to say to people, and to do with your own funding, I'm not telling you what to do. I know you're supposed to do something with your funding in your community for certain people, that they be awakened as well. But there are 300, and I know I'm trusting God Most High. I'm trusting the universe that you continue to do what you have to do and be great. I didn't go off on a tangent. I know that was a part of what I had to say, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you 300, bless you in your being. And don't think it's strange. It is time. This is an actual affirmation for you, and you know who you are. I'm not ashamed of it. I appreciate God. Let me be a part of it, and I do, in hopes that you continue to allow those gifting to come online, so that you can help your community and the world be better at being the soul, at being original, at being truthful, so that change, the vibration of change, this is for the three, the vibration of change that you feel and is manifesting. You are manifesting smaller synchronicities, small things coming in alignment. That's you, and I know this. I love you all in the soul. But getting back to the 1960s, so where everyone is a community. Everyone can do this, and not everybody be segregated, Doesn't have to be any segregation, because there's no segregation in loyalty. Now, there's segregation in love, because you fall in and out of love. I said that in previous videos. I just reiterate. But there's always eternal love in the soul, so you can choose. You can choose. I love you in the soul. 300. Y'all gonna be 300? Man, let's get it. This is Shantavian Fan. I'll see you in the soul. I'll see you soon.